everyone, I'm Sara and welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet the Sunshine Ponchette. And I think you can see why it's called Sunshine. It's made with a variegated yarn that is all different shades of yellow. And yellow is my favorite color, and so when I saw this yarn, I had to make this ponchette. Now, I made this ponchette a few years ago, and the yarn that I used was the Amazing Yarn from Lion Brand. Well, that yarn's not available anymore, and so I decided when I saw this yarn, it's called Ice Cream Cotton Blend. It's 47% cotton and 53% acrylic. It's perfect for a summer, spring, or even fall ponchette. Now, the neat thing about this ponchette is it's completely adjustable, and I'll explain how to make it wider and longer in just a few minutes. Now, you can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make the ponchette, you're going to need about 3.5 ounces of a medium weight number 4 yarn. Unless you want to make it longer, of course, and then you'll need more yarn. Like I said earlier, the yarn that I used is called Ice Cream Cotton Blend. And this one is a beige one. It's called Chocolate. I've got plans for this one as well. This one is called Lemon. And of course, they're ice cream yarns, and so they're going to be given flavor names, which I think is really fun. Now, this is an ice cream yarn that I had not seen before, and I was walking through Hobby Lobby, and they had their yarns 30% off. And I saw this cotton blend. Like I said, it's 47% cotton and 53% acrylic. And I knew I had to make this ponchette. All right, so to make the ponchette, according to the pattern, you're going to need about 3.5 ounces of a medium number 4 yarn. And so you can use any medium weight number 4 yarn that you have on hand. Solids, you can use variegated, striping, ombre, anything, any colors, as long as it's a medium weight number 4. I'm going to be using this Red Heart Super Saver in this gold color for our demonstration because it's very difficult when you use a variegated yarn to see the stitches sometimes. So I'll be using this gold. Again, it's a medium weight number 4 acrylic. We're going to be using our J hook today, which is a 6.00 millimeter crochet hook. Now we're using a J hook because we want the poncho to be stitched loose and lacy. You'll also need a needle for weaving in those ends and a pair of scissors. All right, let's talk sizing. The top of the poncho measures approximately 36 inches around, and it is meant to fit loose and comfortable. And if you want to adjust that to make it smaller or bigger, you can do that in multiples of 6 chains. Those 6 chains measure approximately 3 inches, just to give you an idea. And then as far as the length of it, once we reach that last row, you can add as many rows as you want to, and each row measures approximately an inch. Now again, you can find all this information on that blog, and that blog link again is in the notes under the video. To make the poncho according to what I have written, you're going to need to chain 114 chains. Now, something that I recommend, let me grab my stitch markers, is that when you chain a long chain, that you mark your chains with a stitch marker. For instance, I'm going to begin with my slip knot, and I'm going to chain 20 chains first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so there's my 20th chain. I'll take my stitch marker and I'll mark that chain. Now when I keep going, I won't have to recount those 20 chains. All right, so then I'll go 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and so forth. And then I can mark those chains every 20 chains, and I won't have to keep going back and recounting. So if you're going to make the ponchette according to my written pattern without any adjustments, you're going to need to chain 114 chains. I'm not going to restitch a whole new ponchette. I'm going to be doing a demo. And for the demo, I have 38 chains. You need to have 114 chains. We're going to join this chain into a circle, because this is the top of our ponchette. We'll go in that first chain and stitch a slip stitch and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This chain 5 counts as a double crochet chain 2. We're going to skip the next 2 chains, and in that next chain we're going to stitch our shell stitch, and our shell stitch is 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in the same chain stitch. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip 2 chains and stitch 1 double crochet in the next. And so this is our repeat working all the way around. We're going to stitch a shell stitch, which is 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 2, skip 2 chains, and then 1 double crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 2 chains, and stitch our shell stitch. And yes, this first row can be just a little bit clumsy, or awkward is probably a better way of putting it, until we get our repeats set up. So I'm stitching a shell stitch, in the next stitch, chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet in the next. And that's the repeat all the way around. Chain 2, skip 2 chains, shell stitch in the next, which again is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2 chains, and double crochet in the next. And you'll repeat this working all the way around the top of your ponchette, which is your beginning chain, of course. And then we'll join back over here where we started. Once you've stitched your repeats all the way around, you're going to have 19 of your shell stitches and 19 of your double crochets in between. All right, when you've stitched your last shell stitch, chain 2, you're going to go to where we stitched that chain 5, and you're going to join to the 3rd chain of the chain 5 with a slip stitch and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for row or round 2, our chain 5 counts as double crochet, chain 2. We're going to go right to the chain 2 space of our first shell stitch and stitch a shell stitch. So 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 2 and then double crochet in the double crochet and chain 2. Then we'll go to the next shell stitch and stitch a shell stitch in that chain 2 space. Two double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Chain 2, double crochet in the double crochet. And this is our repeat for row 2. Shell stitch in the chain 1 space of the shell stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 2, and repeat all the way around your row. And we'll join back over here. I completed row 2, and you should have again 19 shell stitches and 19 double crochets. Of course I don't, because I'm just doing a demo. And so what we're going to do is we're going to join to the 3rd chain of that chain 5 with a slip stitch, and again chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now for row 3 and row 4, we're going to repeat what we did on row 2. We're going to stitch a shell stitch in the chain 2 space of our shell stitches. Chain 2, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 2, and repeat all the way around for 2 more rows. So basically, we're repeating row 2 for 2 more rows. I have completed repeating row 2 2 more times. And on every row, you're going to have 19 shell stitches and 19 double crochets with those chain 2s in between. And what we're going to do for row 5 is we're going to be doing the same thing. The only difference is we're going to have chain 3s in between. And that's how we make the increases on our ponchette. All right? So I joined over here to the chain 3 of those 5 chains. On row 5, we're going to chain 6. And this chain 6 counts as a double crochet chain 3. We're still going to do our shell stitches the same. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Oops, got a string there. There we go. 1 and 2. And now we're going to chain 3. We'll still make our double crochet in the double crochet, but we're going to chain 3. And that's our repeat for row 5. Chain 3, shell stitch in the chain 2 space of the previous row's shell stitches, chain 3, double crochet in the double crochet, and chain 3. And so the only difference for row 5 is that we're adding a chain here and here. So we have 3 chains, double crochet, 3 chains, shell stitch, 3 chains, double crochet, repeat all the way around for row 5. I completed row 5 of my swatch, shell stitch, chain 3, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 3, and repeat all the way around. And again, you have 19 shell stitches and 19 double crochets. Your increase was when we did 3 chains instead of 2. Here's my last 3 chains. I'm going to join to the 3rd chain of those 6 that we started with and chain 6. And so what you're going to do for row 6 and row 7 is you're going to repeat row 5 2 more times. Chain 3, shell stitch, chain 3, double crochet, chain 3, all the way around, join back to the 3rd chain of the 6, and that's row 5, and we're going to repeat row 5 2 more times. And so I completed those 2 repeats, and this is how it will look after row 7. You'll have 3 rows where you have chain 3s in between instead of chain 2. All right, and so then what we're going to do for row 8 is we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to have 4 chains in between. And again, you're always going to have 19 shell stitches and 19 double crochets on each row. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to chain 7. I've already chained 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the first 3 chains count as our double crochet, and then the 4 chains count as 4 chains. And then we'll just repeat what we've been doing. We'll stitch our shell stitch in our shell stitch, which again is 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And now we're going to chain 4. We'll double crochet in the double crochet and chain 4. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this for 3 rows. Shell stitch in the chain 2 space of the shell stitch, chain 4, double crochet, chain 4, and do this for 3 more rows. So here is my completed poncho. We did 12 rows. We did those 3 rows with the chain 4s, and then we did 2 rows with the chain 5s in between. And so basically what we did is 4 rows with chain 2. Then we did 3 rows with chain 3s. Then we did 3 rows with chain 4s and 2 rows with chain 5s. And this is as long as I want my poncho to be. All right? So it's going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 inches long. And remember, it's very stretchy, so it's going to be even longer than that when it's worn. So what you need to do is decide how long you want to make it. Once you get to the point where you're doing 5 chains in between, you can just continue to repeat that as long as you want your poncho or ponchette. And remember, the only difference between a ponchette and a poncho is how long it is. Ponchette just means short poncho. All right, and so this is all the longer I want mine to be. But if you want yours to be longer, continue to repeat the row that has 5 chains in between for as long as you would like your poncho. Once you've decided that, go ahead and cut your yarn. Grab your needle and weave it in. There isn't any edge or trim on this poncho. So I'm just going to weave this in. making sure it's going to stay put because we don't want it coming undone when we're wearing it. And so that's my finished ponchette. Now, again, you can make it as long as you want, and it's super easy to adjust the length in the neck if you want it smaller or larger. This ponchette is made to fit loose and to look pretty over a tank top or a sundress or a t-shirt or whatever you want to wear it with, maybe even over your bikini top. It's just a fun little ponchette to add a little extra sunshine to your outfit.